died 6,000 years ago.
This scavenger is not.
Hi everybody, and I hope you enjoyed that exciting T-Rex video. That T-Rex was filmed in the wilds of New York City. That was in the Manhattan Toys R Us. I took that video many years ago, and not knowing that it would be the last time I saw it. I watched a documentary on what happened with Toys R Us and that property and how they could no longer afford to keep it. The CEO was so bitter, apparently, about that the T-Rex was chipped into millions of pieces. So you can no longer see it anymore, but it was quite a sight and quite life-size. And now we will be getting back to our regularly scheduled dinosaur program. Hi everybody, welcome back. This is GL1 with our next section of our show. What I gotta ask you today is, do you like dinosaurs? Do you think dinosaurs are exciting? Well, we all think that they're great, right? I mean, they're just fantastic. My bidding, well, okay, you don't have to call me master, but today the bidding that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you dinosaurs, and if you're not careful, you just might learn something. So I'm going to make this as entertaining and interesting as possible about dinosaurs, and I have to tell you something that I have to do, which is kind of silly looking. I can't wear bifocals, so my glasses, the way that they work, will not let me wear bifocals. They make their prisms, and they bring my eyes into alignment to see two different heights. So often when I'm looking at my notes, it's really difficult to just use my regular glasses, and I have to put glasses on top of my glasses. So if you ever catch me doing that, I give up. I've tried not to do it. It's very challenging for me to see sometimes my own writing that way. So I might do this, and yes, it looks goofy, but it's really annoying for me too. I have to have glasses all over the place, in my car, everywhere, and so just telling you that. All right, so today's show is on dinosaurs, and but before we get to the dinosaurs, I'm going to introduce you to our special guest. It is Roman Reigns from Bend and Smash, I don't know, kind of toy. Roman Reigns, the WWE wrestler, and this is a new Bend and Smash toy. His body is a little squishy, but his arms are very squishy and they stretch. His legs move. He can turn his torso. It's $15. No, $12.97. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I like things that are little rubbery and you can bend them. And he actually can hold things. He's got little hand holes there, and so I think he makes a nice toy. It looks just like Roman. You can zoom in on that, and there he is, Roman Reigns. Bend and Bash. That's it. Bend and Bash. And there you go. And he was found at Walmart, wandering the aisle. So he's our special guest today. And Roman, are you happy to be here? You know, and once again, our guests, they say nothing. So, but Chuckles over here, you know, he always has something to say, and he laughs at my video failures. So, all right. So without further ado, we will get to emails. And here's my extra glasses. So the first email that I received was from Scareglow, from the new line of He-Man toys. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's about Scareglow, and it is from the Gold Series Raptor Blue. The Jurassic Park Gold Series Raptor Blue is complaining that Scareglow at night is very bright. Let's see, it says, please have Scareglow from He-Man Retro Toys turn down his glow, can't sleep, and that's in all caps. So, Scareglow is a He-Man toy, and you put it under the light, and it gets very bright, and it is, if there's such a thing as glow plastic technology getting better, this is definitely one of them. It glows so bright, and it glows all night, and I guess that's why Raptor Blue is complaining about it, and so perhaps Scareglow, if he lets me, will move into a different location. Our next email is 2006 Ghost Rider, Marvel Ghost Rider action figure writes, thanks for finally finding my missile you dropped. Why'd it take 7 months, GL1? Sheesh. And he actually wrote sheesh. So, well, I looked for it, and actually I didn't find it because I looked for it. I found it because it just accidentally turned up. So that's how that goes. Any wisdom on that, Yoda?
Reach out, sense the force around you.
I often reach out and I sense the force around me, and sometimes that force pushes back in the form of emails. So, all right. So today are dinosaurs. So. This is an adventure that is not going to include a lot of Jurassic Park email toys. It's going to include toys that go back to 1970 dinosaurs. And I'm wondering if any of you remember these. Do you remember toys that look like this? Like this. Actually, let me zoom in here. And maybe some of you remember when you got these hard plastic, this is a brontosaur, right? And then you have a Triceratops. Zoom in here a little more. There, okay. Ankylosaurus. Alright, did you remember these hard plastic toys? They're really old. I had these when I was a kid. I think that the green, gray, and brown ones were my brother's. I'm not sure, but they might have been his. And the brightly colored ones, like this brightly green one, definitely were mine. I remember getting those as a kid. But I think we both played with the other ones, and maybe they were his at one time. I'm not sure, but I've taken care of them. However, they did come with a T-Rex and a large Brontosaurus, and they are gone. But I have everything else. And the first thing I want to talk about is about dinosaurs. So, all of you that have seen Jurassic Park, the name for Jurassic Park is not necessarily the best name, because a lot of the dinosaurs that we know and are familiar with are actually from the Cretaceous. And Cretaceous Park probably doesn't sound as good. But what I have over here is a chart. Now this chart is discussing some eras of dinosaurs. Now, the dinosaur era is known as the Mesozoic. So I hope that this is visible to you. But I've written Mesozoic here, and that says Age of Dinosaurs. And the Mesozoic, the Age of Dinosaurs, can be divided into 3 periods. Okay? You have the Triassic, which is the oldest, and that is from 252 to 201 million years ago. Alright? And then the next one you have is Jurassic. So Jurassic is actually the middle period, and that's from 201 to 145 million years ago. And then Cretaceous is from 145 to 65 million years ago, when the dinosaurs disappeared. Okay? And they turned into birds, and some of them, or they didn't turn into birds, but the bird-like dinosaurs were already evolving, and they were able to survive the cataclysm that occurred 65 million years ago. Some of the creatures that we also know go back before the Mesozoic, before the age of dinosaurs, into what's called the Permian. And the Permian period was from 300 million, really 298, but 300 million to 252 million years ago. Okay, and then there was a Permian extinction. So you have the Cretaceous extinction, okay, 65 million years ago, and before that you have the very large extinction, the largest that we know of, the Permian extinction, and that was 252 million years ago. Okay, now some of the toys that I have here I divided them up into the different periods. Okay, so if we start with the Permian, there actually are some Permian dinosaurs, and we have Trackadon, okay, and that guy is this one here, right? And let's zoom in on him. He's really neat. He's got like a short crest, low slung body, okay, and he is a carnivore. Now, the neat thing about these toys, all of them, the brightly colored ones in the gray and green, is on one side of their tail they have how long the animal was, and on the other it has their name. And that is something that the Jurassic Park toys do not do. What they have on the bottom of them is they have a scanning code. You can scan the code into their app, which uses a ton of memory if you put it on your phone. And then it will tell you what dinosaur they are, and it will show you a little video of them moving, and you can learn about them. And that's really great. But it would be great just to have the name and maybe the size of the dinosaur on it, but certainly the name. That would really, obviously it's a really old idea, 50 years old, they could have done that. The other one that a lot of you, I would guess, have seen is Dimitrodon, and he's the one with the really large crest and the fin on his back, which these fins have been guessed that they would be used for cooling the animal and regulating their body temperature, because temperatures were very swampy and hot. And they also may have been used as a display, like birds have displays, maybe to show who's tougher, and maybe a larger crest would, denote some sort of strength of the animals for stronger offspring or babies. Okay. Next we have Dimitrodon was a carnivore, and this guy is so cute. Most chops. He's got the most chops, and he is a herbivore, and they figure this out, whether something's an herbivore or carnivore, by the shape of their teeth, and they know what kind of plant material was growing at the time. And this guy had big flat teeth, and those are good for grinding tough plants. And they assumed that this creature ate a lot of tough vegetation and a lot of poor nutrient vegetation, much like panda bears eat today. Bamboo is not very nutritious, and they would have to eat all the time. And panda bears don't hibernate. They are in the bear family. They don't hibernate because they wouldn't get enough nutrition to survive hibernation. They have to eat all the time. So they eat many hours of the day, all the time, every day. Panda bears do, and they would die in hibernation. They'd starve. So, moving on. That is the Permian creatures we have. Next, we have the Triassic. Okay, Triassic part, and we have. I like this little guy. To me, he looks like he should be sooner, more like Cretaceous, or he looks either primitive or he looks modern. Like he sort of looks Permian, but he also looks more Cretaceous, because he looks a little bit like a creature that would be part mammal or evolving towards mammal, and actually that's true. And this goes to show you that mammals were actually beginning to evolve in all the way back 252 million years ago into Triassic. The reason I think that he also kind of looks like Permian is he looks a little primitive, and he also looks like a lizard. So I'm going to zoom in on him. And I probably had more of these, but this is the only one left. So that's this guy. Okay. And next we have, probably a lot of you have seen this. This is a Pladiosaurus, and I have several. And not to be confused with the one that looks like a ostrich, because that's actually a more Cretaceous creature. Okay, so Pladiosaurus. All right, and also we have moving. So we have is a little bit of a plant material that I have with this set. Okay, and then moving on to the Jurassic. So Jurassic, we have Stegosaurus and Allosaurus. So everybody here has seen Stegosaurus. Remember, Stegosaurus is a large dinosaur. He's got the plates on his back and is famous for having the brain the size of a walnut. Okay, but you know, sometimes that really doesn't matter. I mean, look at how small roaches are and how good at surviving they are. And next we have Allosaurus. Now, some people may think Allosaurus is contemporary with Tyrannosaurus, but he wasn't. He was actually millions of years before. Allosaurus goes back to 200 million years ago. Tyrannosaurus was about 65 million years ago. So separated by maybe as much as 150 million years. Now, this is kind of neat thing to observe here. This is like a 1970s representation of Allosaurus. And you'll notice that he's very upright. He's got kind of a big belly on him. Doesn't look very aggressive. Looks like he would move very slow. Couldn't really catch anything. And probably would just be a detritivore, which means he would just eat things that are dead already. But that's really not a good body design for Allosaurus. So today's body design that we have is in the Jurassic Park toys, and I brought a couple to show you. This is what you get for Allosaurus today. And Jurassic Park toys made two different ones, okay? And they're a little bit, you see, one has one makes noise, for one thing. One has like these spikes on the crest, all right? So see that? And it has a prominent display ridge above the eyes, a little bit more prominent than the other. And they gave it color. Now, nobody knows really what color dinosaurs were. Some of them may even have had feathers and we didn't know. But this is one idea of what Allosaurus would have looked like. Allosaurus has 3 fingers, whereas T-Rex has 2, and the arms are a little bit longer. And that's, you know, and he's a lot smaller than T-Rex, a lot lighter, probably half the size. About 26 feet long, but much, which is not much shorter, it's about 10 feet shorter, but definitely much less heavily built. And then this is the other representation for Allosaurus, and see, it doesn't have the spikes on it. Makes some noise. And you know, you can pretend maybe one's a female and one's a male, and just like with birds, because dinosaurs are related to birds, you know, you can pretend that the male is different than the female. That may have been true with dinosaurs as well. Okay. So. All right. Now, that is moving out of the Jurassic to the Cretaceous, and that's where we find the dinosaurs that we're most familiar with. And of course, we have, as I showed earlier, we have Triceratops, okay, known for the 3 horns, okay. And you know, I have information on these guys that I wrote down. Can go over with you. Triceratops was about 26,000 pounds, okay? So, very heavy armed dinosaur. something that looked a lot like Triceratops but had more spikes was Styrofosaurus. Okay, and if you see this guy, he has like a frond, like a bunch of spikes around his head, and then he has a single one. It also was a lot smaller. It was about 6,000 pounds. So, you know, looking the same, but 20,000 pounds smaller than a Triceratops. And another interesting history of a dinosaur is the Trackadon. So this is a Trackadon, right here, okay? And this is the yellow plastic version. And the yellow plastic version of Trackadon, it's no longer called a Trackadon. Now we often call these Duckbill Dinosaurs because they had like a mouth like a duck, okay? And that name stuck, and as time went on, they began to realize that there were a lot of dinosaurs that could be grouped together in that looked like this. It really wasn't separate. It was just the slight variations, and they called them Hadrosaurus. And interestingly, at the time when these toys were manufactured, they had the Trackadon and the Hadrosaurus made at the same time. But Hadrosaurus is the name that we call them today. We don't call them the Trackadons. So that's our Duckbill dinosaur. And when I would play with these things as a kid, you know, he always was like being friendly. This was the friendly one, and I always felt bad when T-Rex ate him. But you know, he was like, "Oh, come on, you know, I'm putting my arm out." I'm like, "No, no, go over there." Maybe he'd be pointing the other dinosaurs. "No, run over there behind the rock." Now, I have a rule when it comes to playing with toys. You know how kids take toys and they bash them together, you know, like they're biting each other or fighting or whatever? As an adult, it's okay to do that with dinosaurs, okay? You can do it with other toys, certainly. You can do it with, you know, Marvel heroes or DC heroes, and of course wrestling, action figures. But that might be strange. But if you do it with dinosaurs, it's not. It's okay, all right? And, you know, we saw that in Jurassic Park 3 when the doctor was showing the toys to this little kid playing with them, and his name escapes me right now. But yeah, you know, he was showing the kid that which dinosaur would attack which one, and you know, these are herbivores, they really wouldn't fight, but this, you know, the raptors here, they actually would attack. So I think that sets a precedent that it's okay to do that, and so feel free. Another Cretaceous dinosaur is our friend the Ankylosaur, okay, which is this one's brown. I have a green one too. And Ankylosaur is heavily armored and has a big club that people feel could maybe even, you know, if it, break bones, like maybe on a T-Rex. They would maybe use it against each other, sometimes to decide who gets the right to mate, you know, much like deer bang their antlers together, you know, male deer fight for dominance. Okay, and we're going to go to, let's see, we have, Struthiomimus, okay, and Struthiomimus is that dinosaur that we've seen that is like an ostrich, okay, very light, runs, they estimated around 30 to 50 miles per hour. You know, and they estimate things like that based on bone length, tendon attachments, what they know about animals today, and how they can move, and so they, you know, they can make a guess on that. And that would, you know, lizards do run very fast, so you know, dinosaurs are very large reptiles. Okay, so that covers the collection that we have here. Of course. T-Rex, as I mentioned, is also a Cretaceous dinosaur, and with this collection, I don't have a representative of that. A funny thing that would often happen, or always happen, when you buy a set of plastic dinosaurs, is you would get with it a set of Pleistocene mammals from about 30 million years ago. After about 35 million, 30 million years after the dinosaurs were gone, you would get a set of large, mammal creatures, okay, mammals. And actually some of these coexisted with humans as much as like 6,000, 4,000, even, maybe 11,000 years ago. So much sooner than dinosaurs. So you would often get the mastodon or the mammoth. Okay, they're similar. This one's a mammoth. Okay, and and it has nothing to do with dinosaurs, but it would come with the collection of plastic dinosaurs. Even now, when you buy a collection of plastic dinosaurs, you often get a mammoth, and you would also get a saber-toothed tiger, which also coexisted with humans, and that also is far, far later than dinosaurs, so it really has nothing to do with it. It's also, the colorful ones came with a dire wolf. It actually, even printed on here, says dire wolf. They really were good at embossing words on this plastic. And then, this tiny mammal. You know what? I think I forgot to look him up. But yeah, I did. Okay, but this is also like actually this is related to a beaver. It has a little bit of a horn on the front of it. I've seen that in pictures before. And then we have Glyptodon, which is a similar name to what we have here, Dimitrodon or Phenodon. But this Glyptodon, is a mammal. So it was only about 11,000 years ago and was discovered in Texas. And if you notice, it looks like an armadillo, and there's armadillos all over the place in Texas. So, and then here, I didn't look these up because I really wanted to make this about dinosaurs, but these are also a couple of Pleistocene mammals, okay, ancient mammals. Now, additionally, it's a special treat for you. My uncle gave me some plastic fake dinosaurs back probably around 1978, 76. I remember going to Toys R Us with him, and he bought me a bag of these dinosaurs. And I had more of them before. Of course, I really can't call them dinosaurs because they're imaginary. But here's what I have left. And when I played with them, this was the bad guy. Okay? And but I liked him. So, but he kind of was like the T-Rex, and he would eat the green one. The green one was more like a Stegosaurus, and the green one had a baby too, but I lost the baby. And then there was like your sort of your Glyptodon, this sort of, or like an Ankylosaurus, right? He had the carapace on his back, but had like a mosquito kind of nose on him, so, or proboscis, okay. And then there was this guy. This looked more like a Godzilla enemy than anything. And then there was this little sort of like a insect roach looking one, and he could fly in my imagination. I didn't really like him either. My favorite one was the mosquito looking one, and I don't like mosquitoes, but I thought of this as the mosquito looking one. It also had a baby, but I pretended that the little antennae here could sting with lightning, and that's how he would often defend himself against the big red one. So I just, my Uncle Ray got these, and I have done my best to take very good care of them all these years. Even the paint on them, if you look at the eyes, is still intact. And I know it's not perfect, but it wasn't perfect then either. So I think it pretty much is the same as it was all that time, because I do remember looking at them a lot and playing with them. Okay, so that is our dinosaur adventure for today. There will be a lot more because I have a lot more. But I know it's a little bit of a bait and switch, dinosaurs, and then we got these hard plastic dinosaurs. But I think it's important to understand the history of these. And moving forward, when we talk about the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, which are excellent models, when they have even similar dinosaurs, okay, theropods, the two-legged carnivorous dinosaurs, you can compare their bodies right there in front of you. They're all different. All the molds are different. They didn't just, stamp out one theropod body with the similar legs or similar arms and then, just change the head or something like that. They're dramatically different. They really did their research on trying to find out what they could about bone proportions and everything with them, and you can compare them. And I collected pretty much all of them because I love dinosaurs. I love studying them. I love studying the mechanics of them. And before we go today, though, one of our figures does have to kind of make an amends. I know that Gorn, okay, from our last show with the Barbie Olympics, Gorn took the skates from another figure. And he's let me know he feels bad. And she's here today. She got her skates back. So this is Ice Skate Barbie, not part of the Olympics, just, but I like what Barbie has been doing with the dolls as far as coming out with different colors, different ethnicities, different cultures, inspirational, heroic women, exciting outfits, just not really staying the same, just always changing, and different body types as well. And I think that's really great. And in fact, it really has done a lot to save Barbie. Barbie sales were going way down, and then when they came out with their fashionista line, it really saved, definitely saved Barbie, but it might have had a big part in saving Mattel. And I just think that's really great that they were able to shift gears and make that happen. And additionally, I have a couple other things to show you. So I told you that I would change that Darth Vader Death Star into a Death Star, and here it is, the Darth Vader Death Star sphere. And it's the noise it makes. Firing the missile and blowing up. Yeah, that's right. Blowing up Amidala's planet. Or Leia's planet. It was Amidala's planet. And blowing everything up. And while it's in that mode, it also, this is when you can open the door to the back here, and you can take out your TIE fighter, and you can play with your TIE fighter with your, as I showed you last time, play with your Death Star. And it does have a green missile that can fire out of here. And so that is, I think, just a fantastic example of how, a fully articulated, functional robot figure can become a sphere. And I think it's just amazing. These are the little stands on it, and they fold up. It just becomes a ball. And that's what you can do. And before we go, check in with our figures here. Optimus.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
And Optimus Prime has transformed. This is another version of Optimus Prime, and you can see he has 3 wheels for the back and 2 wheels when he turns into vehicle mode for the front. So this is instead of like an 18-wheeler cab, it has 3 wheels in the back. It will have, which is different. It doesn't have knees that bend, but it's got a really cool looking head. I think this is definitely one of the best looking heads on an Optimus, and what better compliment can I give than that?
Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker.
All right, well, he's not here right now, okay? So, we haven't heard from Goldberg or Sting in a while, and we want to get their opinion on what they thought of today's show. And we have to wait for Goldberg's entrance because, well, that was cut short. Goldberg, what do you think? How are things?
I'm Goldberg, and I fear no man.
What about the show?
I'm the Stinger. Ow! Sting every man that I faced. I've destroyed. I'll break you with my bat. Goldberg. Sting, get ready for the jackhammer. Goldberg. Here comes the scorpion death.
They never really address what we're doing here. You know, you notice that? And I'll tell you what's cool about these is when you move their arms,
Here comes the clothesline.
it actually says something different. So he's putting his arm up like a clothesline, and if you send up a
Be
leg,
my next victim. Go for it. Goldberg.
Gold?
Boot to the face.
A boot to the-
Goldberg. You can't beat me. You can't. We'll end this match.
see, I move his leg and then he talks about his kick. Isn't that great? And watch this. If they do fight and they fall over,
1, 2, 3. I'll spear you next time.
Now, wasn't-
Goldberg. Stinger wins again.
now wasn't that worth waiting for? You didn't know they did that, did you? So, just a little bit at a time, I will show you new and exciting things, all right? And we have our dinosaur puppet today, and signing off. Thank you very much for watching.
I'll never give up.
I will never give up, and this is GO1 signing off. Thank you for watching.